So AT&T's earnings call is officially over. They reported their first quarter earnings this morning. Then about an hour or so after actually releasing the info publicly, they had their not internal earnings call, but their earnings call with the analysts and the shareholders. I tuned into the entire call. I listened to the Q&A. So we got more info, right? We're starting to get a sense and feel of where AT&T is going. The market is rallying behind AT&T a bit more now than actually ever for the past few years. Again, media is now off the books. They still talked about Warner for a little bit, but Q2, when they report second quarter earnings, that will no longer be on the books whatsoever. We won't see it at all. So here's a few points. So you're seeing the chart, right? Best first quarter wireless growth, comparing that to last year's Q1. Nine straight quarters of 200 plus K growth on fiber. 17 million households now served with fiber. 113K adds for prepaid. FirstNet, 3.3 million plus connections. And then here's a very, very big one. America's best broadband provider. That's the first thing that Stenke said during the call. He didn't mention 5G for like the first 10 minutes. It was America's best broadband provider. So you have to pay attention as the consumer, and of course the analysts and everyone else is paying attention. The capital dollars will go towards fiber the next few years in a big way. They're leading with fiber. They want to be the best broadband provider in the United States. They're not talking about being the best wireless carrier, having the fastest network. No, they are talking broadband. They want to be the best broadband provider in the United States. They're saying it over and over again. They're spending $24 billion this year and next year. And that's peak. So that includes a large portion of the C-band deployment and then continuing to lay fiber in the ground, growing that eligible customer location from 17 million past 20 and then eventually 30 million as per their guidance, right? That's going to take time. It's going to scale slow by default. You just can't scale that any faster because you have to put in fiber in the ground. You have to dig up sidewalks. You have to repair the sidewalks. That just takes time. Fixed wireless is going to scale much faster because you could put up a site and that site can cover much, much further of a radius than fiber can. You have to actually build that fiber towards that coverage. And that's just going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of time. So that's something that's going to grow slow by default, as I mentioned. So here's a few interesting things to note. The investment. That's the first part. $24 billion this year, $24 billion next year. And if I heard them correctly, they also stated that if they can't spend the entire $24 billion this year, that would run into next year for purchases and stuff. So regardless of how this goes, they're spending $48 billion within a 2-year period. So that's a hefty investment. Comparing that to T-Mobile is spending far less over a longer period. $48 billion over 2 years. So you kind of have to think about that, how much they're going to get accomplished over that 2-year period. So as I mentioned, the market is rallying behind AT&T more than it's ever in the history right now, right? The stock's up 4%. People are talking positively. Internal analysts are like, they're liking what they're seeing. So this investment is going to be good because either way, they're going to grow. AT&T is going to grow no matter how you look at it. If they grow wireless, that's going to lead to conversions to fiber. If a customer calls in about fiber, there is about a 90% success rate that they convert that customer to wireless as well. So they're winning overall. They didn't really disclose a percentage per se, but they're converting back and forth. They're throwing the customers back and forth. If they win wireless, they win fiber. If they win fiber, they win wireless. So that's kind of how they're looking at it. Short, mid, and long term. They're winning across the board on that. And the fiber wins because they can bundle you in a 25% discount with wireless. So it's kind of an easy sell if you think about it. If they go into the house with fiber, they bring a sales rep day one. Hey, how you doing? Is this product good for you? Okay, look here. This is another deal we got. If we bundle you with wireless, you can get 25% off. Bam. That's an instant win. That's hard to not take that deal. So then I know there's still that porting, switching hassle, but I think that the customer is okay with that because they can see the savings and the better value in that deal, according to what AT&T was saying during the earnings call. So then the next part, they also discussed C-band. Supply chain issues, Stanky says, not a problem. The OEMs, Nokia, Ericsson, are likely prioritizing the North American market because there's more profits there. And he was saying that the supply chain is filled enough to hit their build-out targets. So they're scaling now. C-band is scaling now, and it should ramp up even more in the second part of the year. So you should start seeing C-band in a lot more places versus last year, just for comparison's sake. And then, of course, more of that in 2023. Again, to kind of close out this video, the quarter was huge. Financial-wise, it's big. They made profits. Service revenues are up 4.8%. I mean, their fiber ARPU is at $60. Their wireless ARPU is at like $56. I mean, they're just making money. They're now paying down debt, so that means they're flexible dynamically to adjust to any type of environment. They did talk about the price increase. It's going to come. I'm letting you guys know. They couldn't really directly answer that. They said it's not the right place, the right time to, but it's coming. Like I said, I've seen the document. I've been talking to people. The price increase is going to come. How the market reacts to it remains to be seen. Will that increase churn? Will that slow down the growth? That's all stuff that we're going to have to see going into Q2 and Q3 and Q4 of this year. Stanky says he doesn't think it'll be too impactful for them. They know how to do that. So he's kind of being around the bush. It's going to impact them. It's going to happen. They know it too. You go and you increase that bill and the customer's like, why? Well, we got to charge you more. It's going to affect. People are going to notice it. They're going to call in. He knows it too. And they've talked about that internally. They know it's going to have an impact for the company. But nonetheless, great quarter. Now, we're headed into Q2, so we'll see what happens. Anything can happen. He says the wireless growth is strong for them. And the fact that they added 691,000 and they beat estimates almost by like 200,000, that lets me know that T-Mobile is going to have a blowout quarter. They're probably going to do 800,000+ ads. And Verizon is likely to take a loss. They are probably going to take a loss in this first quarter. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. I definitely look forward to reading your comments. It's going to be very interesting moving through the second quarter, right? We are going to see C-band ramp up for AT&T in a big way. I do truly believe that. I think the 6449 and the 6419 radios for the C-band and the DoD spectrum are going to go up across the nation. They're going to try to deploy this very aggressively. And if you look at the CapEx, they kind of have to, because right now they're at the peak times, right? It's this year and next year. Then it drops off to about the $20 billion mark, which is still a good amount. But this is the peak time. So they're going to focus and they're going to build out as much C-band as they can, because they still got density, right? They still have to add more sites and they still have to add more small cells. So again, leave all your comments in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe to the channel. Follow my social media outlets for more updates and interactions. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.